Renovations expected to be completed at most schools before the new term begins. The Bajan contingent has a memorable start of Carifesta 14. And in sports, Barbados wins another gold at the Masters World Swimming Championships.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC Newsnight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Lisa Broom. In our top story tonight, renovations at the majority of public schools are expected to be completed in time for the start of the new school year next month. Word of this from Education Minister Santia Bradshaw.
I think we have about 40 schools this year that we have basically targeted, and in previous years it was like around 16. So we have tried to tap in as much as possible to do a little bit more than was done in previous years, but to try to settle the school environment in a way that we can now start to talk about a lot of the other transformational issues in education that are on the agenda.
The Education Minister also explained why the start of teaching may be delayed at a few institutions.
No work has been done on these schools in any major way for several years, and I think if you have a house, you would know that if you start to pick down something, you start to change the tiles, all of a sudden, you can realize that there is some kind of board that needs replacing. Then when you look at another area, the roof may need doing, and so once we touch one thing, sometimes we end up discovering that there are other problems that we did not anticipate. And regrettably, that is the situation that we have found. So we are trying our best to deal with it. I believe in the next week we're going to have some meetings with the unions as well to do a walkthrough and to look at the sites that are likely to present some problems with the opening of the school term.
Parents are being urged to play a more involved role in their children's lives. This encouragement from Minister of Maritime Affairs Kirk Humphrey during a ceremony for the BLP St. Michael's South Back to School program. 57 children from the area who will be entering secondary school in September were each presented with a school bag containing useful supplies to assist them as they take this next step. Minister Humphrey, who is also the MP for the area, says it's up to parents to help their children stay on the right path.
There's so many forces now acting against you parents, pulling at your children, nagging at them every day, trying to call them, taking them from you. And this calls now for parents to be much more present in the lives of their children. Like, you have to be much more present now. When they come home with things, you ask them where to get them from. Where you got this from? When they show up with new friends, who are these people? Who are your friends? Get to know your friends' parents. When they want to go certain places, find out why you want to go there.
This is the third year of the program, and the minister noted the business community and members of the constituency are instrumental in helping it all come together. He says it's important to give back. Meanwhile, human resources professional and owner of the HR Boss, Jamila Hollingsworth, called on the children to make wise choices.
You know the morals that your parents taught you. You know what is right and what is wrong. It's up to you to make positive decisions. Because the decisions that you make in first form, second form, third form, and fourth form could haunt you for the rest of your life. You see, character is very hard to break down. It is very hard to build, and it's very hard to lose. So once somebody loses trust in you, it's very hard to build back that trust.
And the Barbadian contingent at Carifesta 14 in Trinidad and Tobago has already begun to attract attention for all the right reasons. Lorna Jones tells us more.
The Barbadians had a memorable introduction during the opening ceremony of the Caribbean Festival of the Arts, or Carifesta, at Queen's Park, Savannah. 49 members of the Bajan contingent participated in the Parade of Nations for the event. They were led by dance officer of the National Cultural Foundation, Alicia Payne Hurley, in the role of Mother Sally and a tuck band section. There was an energetic performance with a cast of dancers, actors, singers, musicians, visual artists, authors, and coordinators. They made a spectacular entrance while chanting "Barbados We Come From" in time to the indigenous rhythms of the kettle, bass, and penny whistle of the tuck band. The festival will have showcases, symposia, film screenings, art exhibitions, and more at various venues. It will wrap up on August 25th. Lorna Jones, CBC News.
Thanks very much, Lorna. Well, a flash flood watch is in effect for Barbados until 6 tomorrow morning. This means that flooding due to heavy or excessive rainfall in a short period of time is likely. In a statement issued at 3 this afternoon, the Met Office noted that over the last few hours, a strong tropical wave combined with the intertropical convergence zone has been creating pockets of moderate to heavy showers across Barbados and the southern Windward Islands. These conditions are expected to continue over Barbados for at least another 6 to 12 hours. Further rainfall accumulations of 1 to 3 inches are possible, and residents in flood-prone areas should be on the alert and take necessary precautions. The watch may be upgraded to a flash flood warning if necessary. And there's a suggestion now that the recently revamped corporate tax structure in Barbados could spell harder times for the average citizen. This from opposition spokesman on tourism and regional and international transport, Scott Weatherhead. He says government depends heavily on tax revenue, and there is now a significant shortfall from the decreased corporate tax. Mr. Weatherhead says the burden on Barbadians will increase as other taxes may be raised to make up the difference.
They just reduced corporate income tax rates so significantly. That shortfall has to be made up. It'll have to be made up by way of VAT, which will impact every single citizen across this country, not just the middle class, the upper or the lower. It's going to impact every citizen. They've increased taxes on fuel. Do we expect to see further increases in fuel taxes? Because that means increased energy costs, and increased energy costs means increased cost of living.
The comments came during an opposition People's Party for Democracy and Development press conference earlier today. Spokesman on International Business and Commerce, Bruce Hennis, highlighted an emphasis on tourism as a way to soften the blow. He also recommends local entrepreneurs focus on international markets.
We have to start to gravitate towards building businesses that hit international. And that's the summary of it. We have to, the term that one of our guys uses is we have to do homegrown economies that are globally focused. And that's the crux of it. So if you are going to look at becoming an entrepreneur, as far as possible, start to tap into the international market.
And the winner of the CBC's Shop and Win promotion has collected his prize. Jamar Payne outdrove and outguessed a field of 10 to take the $10,000 up for grabs. I spoke with him earlier today. Jamar Payne was one of the thousands of entrants in the CBC Shop and Win competition. He was one of the lucky ones whose entry was pulled on Morning Barbados. And in the end, he was number one, taking home the $10,000 grand prize to a very happy family who supported him all the way. Jamar says he dined at Chicken Barn, one of the participating businesses, and eventually received a call from the CBC.
At first I thought she was saying I had won $10,000. So, and then when she said hello, I said, go ahead. She said, you had the chance. I said, oh, okay.
Well, once he got over the initial shock, Jamar says he mobilized his mother for the next phase of the competition, the treasure hunt.
The most difficult one was Jim, Patsy, and Louis. And then we were looking for the first set of clues inside the stadium, but then my friend said, no, this is not right. We're looking for botanical gardens. Then we went over there, then we got the second set of clues. And then after the second set of clues, then it was when a man good, he good, and when a man great, he great. And my mom jumped on that and said, it's Gary Sobers.
Jamar told us he had a few anxious periods, but it all worked out in the end.
All along I thought I was behind. So I keep asking at every stage, am I in front? And no one will answer, no one will say. So I thought I had lost. But then when I get to Corvally, and I realized I was the first one there, and then within about a half an hour I found the treasure. So I was very elated.
While he was presented with the symbolic big check the same day at Chicken Barn Coverley, Jamar received the real deal this afternoon from marketing specialist here at the CBC, Rondell French.
He says they were happy with the response to the competition.
It was a tremendous response. We had thousands and thousands and thousands of entries, and when we were unpacking the boxes, and we were like, wow, this response is fantastic. The sponsors were happy, the contestants were happy, and at the end of the day, Jamar was the happiest of all.
Mr. French is encouraging Barbadians to look out for more events like this as the corporation continues to embrace the CBC family.